You know that feeling a little off? Maybe you're more tired than you feel you should be. It's so easy to just chalk it up to, hey, I'm just getting older, right? But what if it's something more specific? Well, today we're going to demystify low testosterone. Let's jump right in and see what it's all about.
All right, let's kick things off with a number that, well, it's probably going to surprise you. 4 in 10. That's right, 4 in 10 men over the age of 45 have low testosterone. I mean, think about that. This isn't some rare, out-of-the-blue condition. It's incredibly common, which is exactly why we need to talk about it.
Okay, so what is low T in medical terms? Well, the official name is hypogonadism. But really, what does that mean for you? Look, testosterone is like the master regulator for a bunch of stuff in the male body. We're talking everything from muscle and bone strength to your mood and even your sex drive. And there's a specific cutoff point. When your levels dip below 300 nanograms per deciliter, that's the magic number doctors look for. That's when it's officially diagnosed.
All right, so let's get into the science. And this is the tricky part, because a lot of these symptoms are subtle. You know, they're the kind of things you could easily just brush off as, oh, just another part of getting older. But when you start to see them all together, that's when they really begin to paint a picture. First up, let's talk about the physical stuff. Maybe you've noticed that your workouts just aren't giving you the same results, or that it's getting a little easier to put on body fat. And then there's the stuff you can't see, which is just as important, like a drop in bone mass, which could put you at risk for osteoporosis. And believe it or not, even things like losing body hair or, get this, hot flashes can be a sign. But look, it's not just physical. Low T can really mess with your head too. We're talking about a kind of deep fatigue, the kind that a good night's sleep just doesn't seem to touch. And when you're that tired, of course your motivation is going to take a hit, right? This can spiral into feeling more irritable, more anxious. Heck, some studies even link it to brain fog and memory problems. And of course, there's the one that everyone thinks of when they hear low T, the impact on your sexual health. Testosterone is pretty much the fuel for your sex drive, or libido. So if that starts to tank, it's a huge red flag. This can also show up as trouble getting or maintaining an erection. It's a really common part of the picture for a lot of guys dealing with this.
Okay, so you're probably asking, why? Why does this even happen? Is it really just about getting older? Well, yes and no. Aging is definitely part of the story, but it is far from the whole story. Let's unpack some of the other major causes.
Honestly, the list of potential causes is pretty long and varied. Sure, there's the natural aging process. But then you've got physical things like an injury to the testicles or side effects from treatments like chemo. It can also be tied to other health problems, things like pituitary gland issues, chronic diseases, even obesity. And you can't ignore lifestyle either. Things like chronic stress or heavy alcohol use can absolutely play a major role. So with this whole list of symptoms and causes, it might feel a little overwhelming, right? Like, how would I ever know for sure? Well, here's the good news. Finding out is actually a really clear and simple process. At the end of the day, it all boils down to a number. It's a measurement from your blood. So a healthy testosterone level is usually somewhere in that 450 to 600 range. But if your number drops below 300, that's the clear line in the sand. That's when a doctor makes the official low T diagnosis. It's not a guess. It's right there in the data. And getting that number is super straightforward. It's really just 3 simple steps. First, you talk to a healthcare provider. Just tell them what's been going on. Step 2, they'll order a simple blood test to see where your levels are at. And then step 3, if the number is low, they might do a few more tests to figure out the why behind it. See, it's a pretty clear path from, I wonder, to getting a real answer. Okay, so let's say you do get a diagnosis. What happens then? The most important thing to know is that there are absolutely effective ways to manage this. There is a path forward, so let's take a look at what that involves. The go-to treatment is something called Testosterone Replacement Therapy, or TRT for short. And the goal is exactly what it sounds like, to replace the testosterone your body isn't making and get your levels back into a normal, healthy range. This helps get rid of those symptoms. Now, it's really important to know that this is usually a lifelong therapy. It's about managing the condition, not a one-time cure. So, how do you actually get TRT? Well, there are a few different ways, but one method is by far the most popular. A whopping 7 out of 10 people on TRT use a daily skin gel. It's super common. After that, you have injections, and then there are other options too, like patches or little pellets that go under your skin. Look, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Trying to figure this out on your own or just ignoring the signs, that's not the way to go. The only person who can really get to the bottom of this and figure out the best plan for you is a healthcare professional.
They're the ones who can put together a treatment plan that's tailored specifically to your needs.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. It is so easy to dismiss all these signs. But just knowing that there could be a real, treatable reason behind how you're feeling, that's the powerful first step. So the question to ask isn't just, am I getting old? It's, is it just aging, or could it be something more?